Hey guys, this is Rise, and I'm back with my second replay commentary. Let's start things off. I'm going to play it at faster this time rather than fast after some feedback from you guys. This is the speed that people actually play the game at, so it should be normal for us to watch, I guess, or we got to get used to it at the very least. So let's begin. This match is going to be a TVP. As you can see, this is Terran player here, Fayth, saying good game, good luck, and no answer from his partner. Well, not his partner, but his opponent, who, you got it, is IdrA once again. And I don't mean to pick on IdrA by any means by watching his games more than other players, but this was a game that was recommended in a previous YouTube video, so I felt I had to do it. Also, it showcases some Terran play versus PvP. While there's still a Protoss in here, we'll get to the Zerg suited up. Don't worry your little hearts. All right, so IdrA starting things off with a pylon, as is standard. We'll take a look at opening APM. As expected, IdrA's got significantly higher APM to begin with because, well, he's the pro gamer, so he's probably doing a little bit more spam than Fayth because, frankly, I don't know all that much about Fayth. I think he's... I'm guessing he was a Starcraft 1 player. I don't know. I don't want to give you any false facts, so I'm not going to really talk much about him. But I know that he's a Terran player. We got that much from him. And it looks like he's going to start off his gameplay by walling off. And it looks like an early scout, which, I got to be honest, I like the early scout play. There's a lot of things you can do as Protoss. And I guess I should mention this is actually pre-patch. So there's already been a lot of changes in the patch. Namely, Mothership's been changed a lot. Reapers have been changed a little. They're still very effective, if not more effective, against buildings. They also changed the gateway warp time. So now these gateways that take something like 45 seconds maybe have been increased to like 60 or 65, which doesn't sound like much, but that's a significant change, especially when you see the typical strategies that Terran players go. And I'm sure we'll see this strategy coming from Fayth. Fayth is most likely, being that he's walling off, he's probably, with that early gas, going to go for Reapers as well as an orbital command center, which, yeah, we can see that upgrading now. Another thing that's been changed in the past, they have patch, not the past, since the past, I guess, is they actually sped up the orbital command center research time. And we'll get to that in a second, what that does. IdrA does manage to get a scout in, but Fayth is now walled off at this point, and you can see that he's building what is called the tech lab for the barracks. Now that allows you to build a couple of different units like the Marauder and the Reaper, and eventually the Ghost. But for now, it looks like he's going to start off with Reapers, which is expected. He's also got the Orbital Command Center finally finished, and that means that he can warp in this monstrous thing, which always scares the crap out of me when I play Terran and I see it come in, even though I'm the one who calls it down. It's a mule, and what that mule does is it basically grabs you a whole bunch of more minerals than you would otherwise, and it increases the amount of minerals that a Terran can mine versus any other race if all patches are saturated. Kind of an interesting fact. That Reaper, by the way, does quite a bit of damage against light units. You can see it's got a +5 bonus against light units, which means it takes out probes quickly, which obviously makes it a fantastic unit for early game harassment. Now we see IdrA going back over here. I haven't really spent much time over here because we haven't seen the Terran lately, or since I started doing commentaries anyway for Starcraft 2. So I wanted to showcase a bit. He's obviously got his first gateway up, and he's changing it to a warp gate. Look how fast that changes. I obviously used Chrono Boost on it to get it even quicker. He's getting 3 gateways, and I'm guessing these are all going to be changed to warp gates as the game progresses. Also, he's got a robotics facility, once again getting an early observer as we saw him last time, and clearly he already got his warp gate technology from the Cybernetics Core. At this point, there are Reapers in a base, and it looks like they get their first probe kill, and looks like they're going to back off a little bit. IdrA doing a great job of defending with Stalkers. Stalkers are great against Reapers. Reapers don't get their bonus attack damage against these Stalkers, which aren't light units. They are considered, I don't know, armored, mechanical, whatever. I'm sure it's specified somewhere else as well. IdrA now going up to his robotic support bay, or robotics bay, I guess is what it's called in StarCraft 2 versus StarCraft 1. And oh, look at this. Fayth is going for a double starport hidden proxy. And that's kind of cool. This is something that I haven't actually seen yet in StarCraft 2. But we'll have to see how it works against IdrA, who, by the way, has an observer and sees exactly what's going on inside the base of Fayth. And really, this should be a telling tale that there isn't much building in this base. He's got a barracks building, and that's it. So the question is, will he realize that there's some sort of proxy? It looks like he knows something is up, so he's checking for a quick expansion, but he doesn't see anything. So he's probably a little confused right now, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and play what I can call standard at this point. I wanted to mention that one of the benefits of these warp gates is you can warp units in anywhere. I covered that last time, but you can see that as the Reapers came in to harass, IdrA was actually able to put a couple of Stalkers in just in time by warping them in. It looks like we got 4 Reapers incoming again for some more harassment. And look how quickly they take down that pylon. That's just absurd building damage. That's because they have 2 different attack styles. One of which is they do that 4+5 against light damage, light armor units. But then they also have these D8 charges, and they do 40 damage. Now, that's changed since the patch, of course, to 30 damage, but they increase the attack rate. So, really, it's a little bit of a interesting change, because really it ends up doing a little bit more damage over time than what they do right now in this patch as we see it. But enough of that. You'll see that later. It looks like he's actually going to be warping in Banshees from these 2 proxy gates. Interesting. Obviously, these are his options of things to build. He's not building battle cruisers or Vikings. Vikings are interesting. They attack both air and ground, but they have to land in order to attack ground and float to attack air. So they're kind of like hybrids, but not necessarily the most beneficial units. They're not particularly good at anything, but they are good at hit and run. And depending on if you're playing like Zerg or something, they can be very useful against like roaches, for instance, which can't attack air, or other maybe Protoss, which can attack ground or just air with their phoenixes, but not ground, things like that. So you see some interesting strategies used with Vikings. However, we're seeing Banshees, which, by the way, do quite a bit of damage against the units on the ground. Basically, if you look, they only attack ground, they don't attack air, and they do 12 damage twice. So this could work out pretty well, because that means they're going to be really good against Stalkers, which don't do all that much damage against air, and or really most units in general. They do most of their damage against armored units, and I don't know if Banshees are I think Banshees are light. Yeah, they are light mechanical, so they're only going to do their regular damage and no bonus damage. And oh, look at this